The good things about capital flight, and if we might call that, is that it reduces the foreign exchange reserves that the Chinese central bank has to hold. You know, for a central bank to hold so much foreign exchange reserve, it is not efficient, because all this foreign exchange reserve will have to be translated into sort of a monetary base, and that increased Chinese money supply significantly. And in order for the Chinese central bank to say, okay, there may be too much money supply, and they have to lock in many of the new money they generate as foreign income comes in, foreign currency comes in, and that's in the process. That's in the form of very high required reserve ratio on the banks. It creates incentive for the bank to say, well, attracting deposits is very costly for me, because I attract 100 yuan, I can only use 80. Another 20 has to be put in some place where I earn no interest, right, or very low interest. So the bank begin to say, well, as a result, I'd like to move my asset and liability off my balance sheet, because if it is on my balance sheet, I have to meet the reserve requirement ratio. But if it's off the balance sheet, then 100 yuan can be used as if it were 100 yuan, right? So that's the reason why in the last 5 or 6 months, 6 years, we have seen a rapid growth of shadow banks, right? The shadow banks all grow because China has too much foreign exchange reserve. We've seen large movement of capital moving into China, and some of these come in the form of debt investment. So we raise money outside as debt, as a dollar debt, and we invest in China. There's a calculation that the yuan is actually going to appreciate. And so this creates a huge amount of capital inflow in China, which is again another reason for why Chinese foreign exchange reserve has gone to such a high level. And if we were to let the yuan depreciate significantly, many of these investments would go bankrupt. And that would create a lot of instability. And then if we look at this, who were actually doing all this sort of, I would call currency arbitrage? And it's likely large state-owned firms, because they have the capacity to do so. I mean, you and I can't easily borrow dollars, can we? Right? So it is the large firms that they can borrow in the international markets. They have political clouds. And so my prediction is that even though overall it might be good for China to let the yuan depreciate at a faster pace, but politically, I think maintaining a relative stability of the yuan is important.